Hello. So, here we are, first video for the new channel, first no access required. And that just happened. So, in protest, I didn't cancel my subscription because I'm a bit of a pussy. No, I did the next best thing. I reduced my tier to the lowest, but for valid reasons, frankly. I used to be a bit of a FOMO, get everything. And I've since realised that Game Pass is an overflowing cup of plentitude. And it occurs to me that we're not built for overflowing cups. In some weird fashion, having everything placed in front of us on a plate actually has the reverse effect than it's intended to have. Since having Game Pass, and since it's grown, I've completed many less games than I used to. I find myself dipping in, dipping out. And as a result, something curious has happened. Games have become less valuable to me. Isn't that odd? Or is it odd? So you have this huge smorgasbord of all you can eat. And how long is it before you get full up? How long is it before every day you pass this huge banquet in front of you and you no longer want to eat a full meal because it's always there? All you're doing is pick. So I don't want all those games, bizarrely. I want a focused experience where I can play what I play. And the weird thing is, new games, AAA games, are becoming just... they're suffering from being AAA games in many respects. I mean, you could reasonably argue that the woke agenda is killing games in many ways. There's a political message being pushed. And this is supposed to be gaming. And I don't know if they got the message, but gaming's supposed to be fun. And now what we're faced with is how can I put this? Gaming's become my second job. And so I decided to start this YouTube channel because the fun was disappearing. Now, could you say that as an older gamer, I'm used to a different experience and that newer gamers are buying into this? Well, it appears not. There's been a huge backlash, so much so that just, I think, yesterday, Xbox sent out an email saying, oh, no, hold on. We didn't mean like everybody was... No, this is just for new purchases if you change. So great, so I changed, and now, a few days later, they get the email and it's like, oh, hold on. So I could have stayed where I was and I wouldn't have had to have any... But the truth of the matter was, in my case, I was thinking of changing. I was in that sort of weird halfway house. And so when they upped the prices, it just tipped me over the edge. And I was like, oh, yeah, bollocks. So what are we left with this monstrosity of an idea? We're left with a bunch of pissed off gamers. That's for sure. We're left with people cancelling. That's also for sure. The news has been rolling out all over the place. And we're left with the fact that obviously Microsoft has taken some notice. And bear in mind, they would have had a whole strategy team, well-paid people, right, who would have said rather sagely, well, we do expect some backlash, but we'll be able to mitigate and cope. And who knows, the email may have actually been lined up. Or was it a knee-jerk reaction to something they didn't expect? Well, as I've just said, I think they expected some backlash. You can't increase prices and not have some dissatisfaction. Times are tight, after all. Here in the UK, a week's shopping is nearly costing a week's wages. Does that sound right? And meanwhile, these AAA companies are posting huge profits and increasing prices. And why did they increase prices? Okay, let's just talk about that just for 1 second. And this will probably be the last thing I'll say in the matter. Xbox have overextended themselves massively. Badly managed, I think. And I've managed a couple of businesses. Very small compared to this. But in the round, same rules apply. Don't be an idiot. Look after your money. Certainly don't overstretch yourself because you'll pay for that later. Oh no, we're paying for that later. The price hikes are effectively us paying for Xboxes overstretching themselves. Corporate hubris is a thing, in case you didn't know. There are a bunch of people at the top of a company who live in a very exclusive club. They don't really talk to anyone else. They know conceptually that there's dissatisfaction and happiness. But when you're in a club where you're all patting each other on the back and sucking each other's dicks and nobody ever says no to you, what kind of environment, what kind of decision-making process do you think that's going to foster? What decisions will that lead to? I'll give you this mess. So, the next Cheery video will focus on our role as customers and how that's changed over the last 20 years. Until next time, bye.